Hey, what's up, guys? It's a Sports Blitz here, and we're back with another Mock the Mock, where we basically take a look at someone else's mock draft and give our opinions on it. We've done a few so far this season, and today we're going to be mocking the Goat House's most recent mock draft that he did just the other day. So let's go ahead and take a look. But before we get into it, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Guys, if we can be at 800 subscribers by the end of 2021, that'd be absolutely huge for me. So thank you so much for that. Let's go ahead and get into the mock. So we're having it muted. We don't want to, listen to the entire thing. But for his first 8 picks, so starting off, he has the Jaguars taking Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan. I mean, I think that's pretty much set in stone, assuming they don't trade back. Good pick. Then Lions take Kayvon Thibodeaux. That's also a set in stone type of pick, unless the Lions trade back. I think those two are really like the absolute set in stone first 2 picks. Number 3, he has the Texans actually taking Kyle Hamilton from Notre Dame. That's one I don't think I've actually seen before. One of the biggest ones is I've seen them take Evan Neal. I think they definitely need some help on the offensive line. I've seen some with the Texans trading back. I think there's a number of ways the Texans could go. Kyle Hamilton's definitely an interesting direction, but I think Hamilton's one of the best players in this whole draft, and I think he's going to be an absolute stud no matter where he goes. So that's a good pick for the Texans. Then the Jets take Evan Neal out of Alabama. I don't think this is a bad pick, especially with Kyle Hamilton off the board. It makes a little bit of sense, especially where he's more of a right tackle. You have him, and then you got Mekhi Becton on the left side. They've still got Elijah Vera Tucker as well. That offensive line is going to start looking really, really good. Question is, is a guy like Derek Stingley going to be available at their number 8 pick? I don't know. Probably. We'll see. But, I don't think that's a bad pick for the Jets. Again, if Kyle Hamilton is on the board, I would definitely prefer the Jets to take him instead of Evan Neal. But if Hamilton's already gone, it's not a bad pick at all. Then for the Giants, their back-to-back picks are Kenny Pickett and Charles Cross. Whoa. I have actually never seen that combination. So Kenny Pickett, I've really become a fan of him the last few weeks, really studying up on his film. Like I've said in my recent mock drafts, he looks really, really good. He's really mobile, has a really strong arm. He looks good. My biggest concern is his hand size. Like I was saying, if he were to be drafted today, he'd have the smallest hands in the NFL. And that could really have some fumbling issues, which that's also something Daniel Jones has struggled with. We don't know exactly if that'll be an issue for Kenny Pickett. Maybe he'll be better at holding onto the ball, but when you have smaller hands like that, it's definitely a concern. But then they're having him take Charles Cross, which, if Evan Neal is off the board here, I think it'd be a lot smarter to take Akeem Ekwonu. I don't know, guys. I'm starting to think Akeem Ekwonu might be my number 1 tackle in this draft. I know for sure if teams were drafting him as a guard, he'd be my favorite lineman in the draft. But even to play left tackle, he's right up there with Evan Neal. And I'm really not super high on Charles Cross. I don't think he's powerful enough. We see him get blown back into the quarterback too much. He'll do good against speed rushers, guys like, Brian Burns, really speedy guys like that. But powerful edge rushers, he's gonna get blown back too much. So I'm not a huge fan of that pick. But then he has the Panthers take Carson Strong. Now I'll be honest, I've also started to be a really big fan of Carson Strong as well. I've watched a lot of his tape. His mechanics honestly look a lot like Tom Brady's. He's really good at going through his progressions. He makes really good reads, to be honest. Gets the ball out quick. Honestly, he makes a lot of NFL throws. You don't see it a whole lot in college, but the system that they're running at Nevada is a system that they run quite a bit in the NFL. So he's making a lot of NFL level throws. Issue is, he's not very mobile, and with how absolutely terrible the Panthers' offensive line is, you're going to want a mobile quarterback back there if you choose to go quarterback in the first round. So I think it'd be smarter for them to, again, get a guy like Ikem Ekwonu, or even a guy like Tyler Linderbaum, if he's still on the board right here. I feel like it'd be smarter to fix the offensive line before going quarterback. That's just my opinion on it. Number 8, the Jets do end up getting their guy in Derek Stingley. I've only seen a couple mock drafts that Derek Stingley wasn't mocked to the Jets. I mean, corner's just a big need for the Jets. Stingley is perfect value right there. Going to be an absolute stud. I mean, it's just a perfect pick. So, pretty big fan of his top 8 right there. Got kind of questionable with the Giants and Panthers picks, but, not a bad first 8. So, going on to the next 8 here. So, 9 through 16, he has the Falcons taking Ikem Ekwonu at number 9. That's not a bad idea. I mean, the Falcons have had some offensive line issues this year, for being honest. They definitely need some better protection. They need some better run blocking as well. So I'm not really opposed to that, but I feel like a guy like David Ojabo or George Karlaftis would be better, though, because their pass rush is so bad. And if there's a draft to fix your pass rush, it's this one. If Karlaftis and Ojabo are on the board right there, you have to take it. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of Ikem Ekwonu. I also don't think he'll even fall to number 9, if I'm being honest. I really don't. But if he's available, I mean, I don't think it'd be a bad idea to take him. But it's just, you also can't pass on a guy like Karlaftis or Ojabo when you really desperately need a pass rush. Then at number 10, the Eagles take Devin Lloyd from Utah. Guys, I love this pick. I've mentioned countless times on this channel how big of a fan I am of Devin Lloyd. He can cover, he can stop the run, he can rush the passer. He's phenomenal. And the Eagles are in desperate need of a linebacker. He's going to become an absolute star on that Eagles defense. So I love that pick. He's really becoming one of my favorite prospects in the draft. So love that pick to the Eagles. Then for the Washington football team, he has them take Kenyon Green from Texas A&M. Honestly, Washington needs some offensive line help. I'm not mad at that pick at all. Kenyon Green is a very solid guard, especially where we're not sure if they'll be able to re-sign Brandon Scherff in free agency. They'll definitely need some help at the guard position. I also think if they do choose to go O-line, a guy like Tyler Linderbaum would be a really good selection as well, where center is one of their biggest issues. And really, Linderbaum can play guard as well. So either one of those guys would be great for Washington. But we could also see Washington select a quarterback right there. I could see them taking a guy like Malik Willis, Matt Corral, or, really just whoever else is available. Then for the Eagles, they are taking Roger McCreary. So I've mocked a few corners to the Eagles this offseason. I've gotten a lot of flack, actually, from Eagles fans on that. I will be completely honest. I think it'd be smart for them to take a guy like Andrew Booth from Clemson. I really, really like Booth. I think he's the second best corner in this class, and I don't think he's far off from Derek Stingley. I really don't. Roger McCreary, I'd have as my cornerback like 5. I'm a bigger fan of Kyrie Elam as well as Ahmad Gardner. So I think it's just really, really reaching on Roger McCreary here. Not a huge fan of that pick. I agree. I think it'd be smart to go corner. I mean, having a duo of Darius Slay with like Andrew Booth or even Ahmad Gardner, that'd be such a nasty defense. I mean, I love the idea of that. There's also the possibility of going with a guy like David Ajabo or George Karlaftis right here. Then 13, the Broncos take Matt Corral. I could see it. I could see it. Matt Corral does seem like the type of quarterback that John Elway would really like. I mean, the Broncos truly are a quarterback away. I mean, if they don't land a guy like Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, or anyone like that this offseason, I think they 100% need to draft a quarterback in the first round this year. They can instantly go from, kind of middle of the road type of team to, really a true contender with a better quarterback. So I see the best 2 fits for Denver, honestly, are both Matt Corral and Carson Strong. I actually had Carson Strong going to Denver in my last mock. Carson Strong just seems a lot more like the contained pocket passer that John Elway wants back there. But Matt Corral's definitely a good pick. Then for the Saints, having them take Malik Willis out of Liberty, I think you got to have more confidence in Jameis Winston. I really do. I think you give him some more time. They desperately need a wide receiver. I mean, there's plenty of guys available. Like, there's Garrett Wilson. As you can see on the screen, there's Jameson Williams. There's Chris Olave. There's Treylon Burks. There's plenty of wide receivers available. I don't think it'd be smart for them to go quarterback. But then at number 15, the Browns take Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson's really rising for me. I've watched some more of his tape, and he looks good. And the Browns are a situation that I think they could honestly take, either quarterback or wide receiver. Because I'll be honest, Baker Mayfield hasn't looked good at all this season. I think they could genuinely look to move on from him this offseason. And really, though, even ever since Odell Beckham Jr. left, even Jarvis Landry hasn't been very good, so they haven't had a real number 1 wide receiver this year. So Garrett Wilson would definitely be a good pick for them. Then for the Raiders, taking Jameson Williams, that's honestly a good replacement for Henry Ruggs. I mean, they did sign Deshaun Jackson. Honestly, I'd be willing to bet Deshaun Jackson retires after this year. I really don't think he's going to play another year. And if he does, I just don't see him back in Las Vegas. I really don't. But where the Raiders really want that absolute burner that Henry Ruggs was, Jameson Williams would be a good replacement. So, going to the next 8, looks like there's going to be some ads coming on, so let's go ahead and pause. Alright, so those ads are over. Let's go ahead and skip to the next 8 here. Alright, so 17 through 24, he has the Steelers taking Nakobe Dean out of Georgia. That's kind of an interesting pick. I don't think the Steelers need linebacker. I really don't. I feel like Devin Bush has been good. TJ Watt occasionally drops back in coverage and can do basically it all. I don't think the Steelers really need a linebacker that bad. I feel like it'd be smarter for them to either go quarterback or offensive line. If you've noticed a common trend in this draft this year, there's a lot of teams that need quarterback and offensive line. Steelers are definitely one of them. I know they've been rumored to be a big fan of Kenny Pickett. Well, unfortunately, he's off the board. So is Carson Strong, Malik Willis, and Matt Corral. So I guess quarterback at this point probably isn't too much in play. But I mean, the Steelers, they really need some offensive line help. Go ahead and get Tyler Linderbaum, and whether you decide to move Kendrick Green to a guard position, or else just have Tyler Linderbaum play guard, that's going to help your offensive line so much more. I feel like it's going to help the Steelers more than a linebacker would. But then the Ravens go ahead and take Andrew Booth. I'm also not a big fan of that one. I mean, they've still got Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphrey. I mean, when they're both healthy, they're probably the top cornerback tandem in the NFL. I mean, they're just really dominant. Obviously, Marcus Peters went out at the beginning of the season, and Marlon Humphrey has been injured lately as well. So, yeah, it looks like they really need cornerback help, but once those two get healthy, that defense is going to be so much better. So I'm not a big fan for the Ravens right there, taking Andrew Booth. Though, like I said, he is my number 2 corner in this draft, so it'd be excellent value, especially if you really wanted to maybe trade a guy like either Marlon Humphrey or Marcus Peters. You could get some more value. That is an option, but I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of taking a corner there for the Ravens. Then for the Vikings, they take George Karlaftis. Now, here's the thing. If Andrew Booth was right there at 19, I would love that. Okay, I think the Vikings are a team that need corner. And I feel like when you're drafting, I feel like it's smart to draft both for need and value, but also like best player available. I feel like really though, the only time you go just completely strictly best player available is when you either have needs like everywhere, like the Lions or Jaguars, or if you don't have like any real needs like the Bucks, So that's kind of my philosophy on drafting. That said, sorry, I'm getting a little off track with the Vikings pick here. That said, they really need corner, and if Andrew Booth was available right there, that'd be an absolute steal for them. Like I said, I'm just not a fan of him going to the Ravens. But yeah, they're with them taking George Karlaftis. They also do need some edge help, so that would definitely be a good pick. Then for the Bills, them taking Ahmad Gardner. I've actually mocked Ahmad Gardner and Kyrie Lam actually to the Bills a few times. I don't think it's out of question at all for them to take a corner. Yeah, I think that's a solid pick. I don't know if it'd be better for them to take Ahmad Gardner or Tyler Linderbaum at this point. Again, it's blowing my mind that Linderbaum is falling this low. I mean, I think Linderbaum, honestly, is a top 10 talent in this draft. I really do. Like, the dude is an absolute stud. And the Bills, honestly, need some offensive line help. I don't think their offensive line really is that great. But then we have the Dolphins going ahead and taking Tyler Linderbaum, and, I mean, it's a great pick. They need interior offensive line help. really they need offensive line help about everywhere, if we're being honest. Again, Linderbaum is one of my favorite offensive linemen in this draft. Really, it's between him and Akeem Ekwonu for being my favorite. Then for the Chargers, we're having them take David Ajabo. I don't think that's a bad pick at all. I think that's definitely, a solid selection. I think another guy they could take is a guy like Jordan Davis from Georgia. Really help, in the run game. Help eat up blocks and everything. But yeah, that's a good pick. Then at 23 for the Eagles, they're taking Treylon Burks from Arkansas. I'm a big fan of Treylon Burks. Get another weapon for Jalen Hurts. Yeah, I like that pick. I'm a big fan of some of these Eagles selections, like taking Devin Lloyd and Treylon Burks. And again, earlier on, I agreed with them taking a corner. I just thought it would have been smarter to take Andrew Booth. But going on to 24, the Lions are taking Drake London, wide receiver from USC. I mean, Jared Goff needs some more help. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown has been really good, actually. He's been kind of their main weapon, especially since DeAndre Swift went out. Getting Drake London helps him so much, and honestly, I could see Jared Goff being there for another year or two. I know in one of my drafts, I want to say I mocked the Lions taking, I want to say it was either Matt Corral or Malik Willis. I don't think it'd be out of the question for them to take their quarterback of the future, but it's definitely also smart to, just rebuild the team and everything in the meantime. So, yeah, Drake London would definitely be a good pick for the Lions right there. So, going on to the final 8. At number 25, he has the Bengals taking Jackson Kirkland. This might be the first time I've actually seen Jackson Kirkland mocked in the first round. I am a fan of him. He can play tackle or guard. Definitely a little raw. I think he needs to work on his footwork and his hand placement a little bit more. But yeah, he's a solid pick. Zion Johnson for the Titans, I would also definitely honestly say the same thing. I have those guys almost identical in my offensive line rankings. I mean, yeah, Zion Johnson, I feel like will be a solid pass blocker, but definitely needs to improve his run blocking. I think his footwork is pretty good, but I think he needs to improve his hand placement as well. Then for the Cardinals, they're taking Jordan Davis from Georgia. I don't think that's a bad pick at all. They've kind of gotten gashed in the run game a few times this season. Jordan Davis would definitely help with that. I think also getting a guy like maybe Kyrie Lom would be a big help because they really need corner as well. Yeah, I think that's a good pick though. Then at number 28, the Bucks take Kyrie Lom, and I've said really corner is really the Bucks' only real big need this season. And they get Kyrie Lom, who is my cornerback 3 in this class. I have him just barely above Ahmad Gardner. So the Bucks would definitely be getting a steal right there. Then for the Patriots, they're getting Jahan Dotson from Penn State. I like that pick. Get Mac Jones more weapons. He'll just continue to produce more. Yeah, I've actually mocked Jahan Dotson to the Patriots a few times, so I really like that pick. Then to the Cowboys, they have Daxton Hill. It's not a bad pick. It's really not. I personally prefer Jordan Battle from Alabama. I think he's a bigger playmaker. Plus, he'll actually be paired back up with Trayvon Diggs. Get them Bama boys back together. I think that defense would just really take another step with Jordan Battle instead. But Daxton Hill's really not a bad pick at all. He's a good safety. I don't really have anything to criticize there. Then at 31, taking DeMarvin Leal. He has him listed as a D end. Leal's more of an interior defensive lineman. Plays more D tackle. That said, I mean, you put him on the other side of Chris Jones, it's gonna cause some havoc there. It's gonna help. The Chiefs also need a wide receiver, so they could definitely go wide receiver here as well. But DeMarvin Leal's really not a bad pick. I'd say it's really good value for them as well. I mean, I could see him honestly being drafted in the top 20 picks, so definitely really good value for the Chiefs there. Then at 32, the Packers go ahead and get Bernhard Raimann. Sorry. I mean, yeah, I'll be honest, I need to study more of his film. He's a guy I haven't gotten to quite as much. But I know the Packers need some offensive line help, so we're going to say that's a good pick. Again, he's a guy I need to do more film study on. We're still early enough into mock draft season that there's a lot of guys that I still haven't been able to watch film on, but yeah, we're getting there. Again, guys, make sure to follow my Twitter. Actually, the link to that will be in the description below. But I actually post on there basically updates on these draft prospects, basically my opinions of them. I watch film usually for at least an hour every night, sometimes more. So I usually post on Twitter, whenever I see something I like or dislike about a certain prospect. So if you're interested in that, make sure to give that a follow. But that's all I've got for you guys today. Again, be sure to smash a like button and subscribe. Please help me reach 800 subscribers by the end of 2021. Again, go make sure to subscribe to the Goat House as well. He produces a lot of really good content, so make sure to give him a sub. But that's all I've got for you guys today. I'll see you next time. Later.